Time for the main event. It's the Shoe Shine.
¿Qué onda, vatos locos? Damas y caballeros, it's your boy Dave in the 702 coming at you for a special Wednesday night edition of the Shoe Shine podcast. Joining me all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philly Irish, Drew Evo. ¿Qué pasa, homie? Good to have you back on the air. Good to see people in the chat. I appreciate everybody here on a special Hump Day edition of the Shoe Shine. Lots of breaking news. We got a Vegas doubleheader. And first and foremost, let me apologize to anybody that actually tuned in to was checking my channel, because I did say yesterday at lunch that I will head over to the Mandalay Bay for the public workout of Caleb Plant. And I'm sorry to disappoint anybody. I know you guys could watch it on PBC. Swear to God, Drew, I went out and ran a whole bunch of errands this morning. And by lunchtime, dog, I thought I was going to have a heat stroke. I swear to God. I thought I was going to have a heat stroke. It's 100 degrees as we speak probably right now outside my house. And I just ain't ready for it, dog. I know I was talking with you. The weather in Philly is a lot better than this. Raining, cold. I'm dealing with 90 days of 100 plus starting probably right now. Friday's supposed to be 105, 106. Saturday for fight night. For sure, I'm going to go head to that Caleb Plant fight. Should be about 105. But I might still go to the public weigh-in, so tune into that. Make sure you have your notifications set. That being said, good to have you back on the air, Drew. Did you know that there was a title fight, man? I did a special show yesterday at lunchtime. There was a 130-pound vacant title, IBF title on the line, all the way in Japan. Mexico's Eduardo Sugar Nunez, the number one contender by the IBF. Now, Anthony Casachi, who just fought Lee Wood last week, he gave up that title. He straight up said, you know what? Ain't nobody know who Eduardo Sugar Nunez is from Sinaloa. I'm going to go fight Lee Wood, and you can keep your stinking IBF belt. Canelo Alvarez did the same thing. Canelo did the same thing, said, I'm not going to fight William Skull. I don't know who that is. Nobody knows who he is. You're not going to force me to fight him. He gave up his IBF title. Usyk gave up his IBF title too. Said, fuck with that. I don't care if I'm undisputed. You're not going to tell me who to fight. And so it's a pattern, right, Drew? Sugar Nunez, two Mexicans, a Mexican-American and a Mexican this week, fought in Japan for big money and came up victorious. So congratulations to the brand new Mexican champion, Eduardo Sugar Nunez. Drew, I saw the fight, watched the highlights, guys. It wasn't one of these like barnstorming fights where you're like, oh shit, I got to go watch the entire thing. It was a methodical, strategic boxing. He clocked the Japanese fighter in the 10th round, almost dropped him. The 12th round was exciting, but other than that, it was just classic Mexican pressure style boxing. Got him the belt. Drew, let me ask you, 130-pound division really quickly. What are your thoughts on it? You got Emmanuel Navarrete. You have Oshaki Foster. You got Lamont Roach, who's scheduled to fight in Las Vegas this summer in a rematch should Tank Davis not pull out. I'm going to open my beer. I want to know your thoughts on this division. Two Mexican champions, two African-American champions.
I care less about the division. It's not a popular division. It's not a money-making division. the division could be soon to be taken over by Stephen Fulton if he beats O'Shaquie Foster, which I predict he does. And other than that, Navarrete's on his way. If Navarrete doesn't take you seriously, he should have lost. He should have lost by TKO. Hopefully they change it to a TKO, probably to a no contest. So you can say he's on his way out.
Is he?
So, I just really don't care too much for the division.
That's strange because you and I, our opinions vary so much. I actually really, really like this division because the featherweight division is very exciting. And at any moment, like you just said, Stephen Fulton, Philadelphia's very own, he could move up in weight. He's thinking about moving up and fighting O'Shaquie Foster. That'd make him a potential 3-division world champion. You got 2 Mexicans now. Mexican nationals that are champions. Navarrete just fought Charlie Suarez in San Diego. Very controversial fight. One where the fight was stopped via cut. And they did not use the instant replay properly. Had they used instant replay properly, it should have been a TKO win for the Filipino challenger. And Navarrete's championship days would be over. But they're not, Drew. And now we see that the sanctioning body that controls that belt says we're going to have a hearing. Now, I'm pretty sure, guarantee you that decision is going to get overturned, not in favor of Charlie Suarez for a victory, but a no contest, which places Navarrete as still the champion, and they're probably going to rematch. Today, I tweeted, congratulations to the brand new champion. Let me show you guys a quick pic. And I tagged Top Rank. And I'm seeing on BoxingScene.com, which I trust very much, that a potential fight between Raymond Ford and the new champion Nunez is top of the list, or a unification with Navarrete, the Mexican champion. Maybe they're listening to the shoe shine. Saludos, everybody joining us really quickly. Wile Coyote, AC Walker in the building. AC, I might have to hire you to do a rap for this channel, man. I'm talking Big Spooky. Sis Bolina, if I got that right. Wile Coyote, SB, good to see you. Linda Hernandez, Carlos M, saludos. Ginger Del Rio, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody here from all the Vegas channels. Really, really interesting stuff. Shout out to my boy F Donuts too as well, Drew. I was on this other channel today at lunch, and they found an old video of me partying in Las Vegas, man. And I got to say, I think I looked a lot better 4 years ago. I think I looked a lot better 4 years ago, man. I was a little more younger looking, thinner for sure, about 190 pounds. Yeah, that kind of sound like, damn, I'm getting fat and old. Anyways, guys, Drew, you don't feel the same sentiments, but let me just say regarding that 130-pound division, before we get on to the main topic, I really think that that they should focus on this powerhouse, Edward Nunez, getting a shot with Navarrete and unifying, so we have one unified Mexican champion, and then we could get on to fighting. Boxing, there's always politics in boxing, and it's always going to be rivalries between nationalities and races. We're always going to have the Filipino-Mexico rivalry. We're going to have the Mexico versus Puerto Rico rivalry. We're always going to have a Mexican versus African-American fighter rivalry. We're always going to have these great rivalries, and they bring people together in the same building. It's good for boxing. So, so long as we don't act like soccer fans who beat the shit out of everybody. Saludos to my homegirl, Sarah H. Urban Envy. Go make sure you check out her channel. I appreciate you being in here. She says happy hump day to everybody. Drew, how realistic is your boy Stephen Fulton to move up to 130?
I didn't hear too much about it. It was just talked about a while ago. I don't know if it hasn't been talked about even more. Like, he has to see the scale, the landscape of 126, and see if he can get another fight, a unification fight. And that, if can't, he probably is going to move up. The fight will be for O'Shaquie Foster, but
I feel like your boy Stephen Fulton just got his feet wet, earned his second title. Speaking of second titles, Stephen Fulton, congratulations to Las Vegas's Angelo Leo by way of the 505 Albuquerque, New Mexico, who successfully defended his belt this weekend in Japan, Saturday. 2:30 in the morning. I'm watching that fight, and it was a very good fight, Drew. It was a really good fight. Defends his title. Angelo Leo's sole loss is to your boy Stephen Fulton, where he lost his bantamweight title, his 122-pound belt, lost it to Stephen Fulton. Stephen Fulton loses his belt in Japan to Inoue. Stephen Fulton wins a featherweight title. Angelo Leo and your boy Stephen Fulton are both champions in the same division. And I got to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure that if Angelo Leo was afforded an opportunity to have revenge, that unification could also be made. So I'm going to put that shit out there in the sphere, guys. If PBC, Top Rank, Pro Box is listening, Angelo Leo versus Stephen Fulton is a fantastic unification match, which is a rematch. And Angelo Leo and your boy Stephen Fulton are much better fighters today. Much better fighters. Let me quickly just take this off, Drew. There was some news, Drew. I'm not sure if you heard about this, but the co-main event, I mentioned it yesterday, guys. His name is Shigeoka, 105-pound contender who was battling in a rematch against the Japanese. He's a Japanese fighter fighting a Filipino fighter who's the champion at 105 strawweight division. Y'all keep him in his prayers, guys, because this is the most deadly sport in the world. He's still in critical condition, Drew. He had like a seizure, collapse, had to be escorted out of the co-main event in a stretcher. And it turns out that he had severe brain swelling to the point where they had to saw his skull open for it to come down. That's pretty much a wrap in his career, and he's still battling for his life, guys. He's in an induced coma. Just happened Saturday. Had he gone home, Drew, had he gone home and said, I'm fine, he could very well be a casualty in the sport of boxing right now. So keep this Japanese warrior in your prayers, guys. Let's get to the topic today. I'm sure you got a lot to say, Drew. Sure, you got a lot to say about Teofimo Lopez. Has Teofimo Lopez shot himself in the foot this week? Again, lots of controversy. It ain't even about racial politics this weekend. Indeed, Wiley. Shout out to all the San Diego and Los Angeles soccer fans who were getting wilding out this weekend. Let me play you a little clip, Drew. Let's see. It looks like I got Twitter working. Let me know, guys, if it's not playing correctly. But let's just see what Teofimo had to say regarding your fighter, Drew. Boots Ennis, real quick. Let me see here. Let's get this loaded up here.
Boots, if you're on here and your father's on here, Bozy, listen to me. You bozos. How you claim yourself from Philly and you don't want to fight the best? Man, y'all putting Philly down and Philly just won. Shout out to Philadelphia Eagles for winning the chip. Come on, bro. I don't think you from Philly. Any questions?
No boots fight. Did the audio play, Drew? Were you able to hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, guys. Let me know in the chat if you heard that, because I just been trying to link up my Twitter account so we can get these updates here. Obviously, he shot himself in the foot, says AC Walker. Well, here's the deal. Teofimo Lopez, one of my favorite boxers inside the ring. Outside of the ring, he's a huge personality. I've got a chance to meet him here in Las Vegas. He can be polarizing. He can also be charismatic. He can also say some stupid, ridiculous shit that just sounds like he's a racist, period. You know, an immature racist at times. And but this week, he's on the verge. He's been calling for a Boots Ennis fight. Calling for it, right? Been calling for it for a minute, Drew. They get to negotiating. They offer Teofimo a pretty good amount of money, but it comes back that Boots Ennis and his dad decided to decline the offer to fight Teofimo Lopez, the lineal 140-pound champion, wishing to move up and weight to welterweight. He says, I could barely make weight. This is what I've been hearing. It's not hearsay. He can barely make weight. And for Teofimo Lopez, it just ain't worth it. He's either looking to unify a title or move on from the division. Now, people are accusing your boy Boots Ennis of being a duck. And we're going to get to another part of the story because they're saying Teofimo's ducking Devin Haney now, because there's part two to the story. First off, Drew, what's going on with this Philly situation in Boots Ennis?
Boots simply said, I want another champion or I'm going to move up. And he's been saying that. And He gets nothing out of fighting Teofimo. It's on upside of Teofimo. If he beats Teofimo, they're gonna say, "Oh, Teofimo wasn't ready for the division. He wasn't ready to move up. He was too small for the division." They'll make every other fucking excuse in the book. He'll make every other excuse in the book if he gets his ass kicked by Boots. And Boots is supposedly Boots was a B-side to this. No, let's look at it like this. Boots is the A-side on this one. And, like, first and foremost, Turkey was trying to offer Boots money to fight Teofimo because, oh, I want to see that fight. Now, this is the issue that I have with Turkey Al-Sheikh. It's not you want to see that fight. It's the fans want to. The fights fans want to see, not you. And that's a big turnoff to me. You ever see like a Terence Crawford versus Canelo fight than a Canelo versus Benavidez fight? First and foremost, and then I want to see Teofimo fight Boots. Boots told Eddie Hearn, "I want another champion, or I'm moving up." When Boots signed with Eddie Hearn, Eddie told him, I will help you bring boxing back to Philadelphia. And he has helped Boots bring back. He has 3 fights in Philadelphia since signing with Eddie Hearn. And Eddie has kept his promise to Boots about getting fights in Philly and reviving it and helping. And Boots has become a big draw now in the East Coast. So Philly, if you look at the attendance of his past 3 fights in Philadelphia, he practically sold out the Wells Fargo Center all 3 of those times.
Yeah, I'm agree with you there, Drew. Between this A and B side conversation, Boots Ennis has successfully sold out nearly 15 to 17,000 seats in his backyard, Philadelphia, Atlantic City, which is the casino right next to him in Philadelphia. And Teofimo, he's struggled to even get a home base, struggling to sell out Madison Square Garden, struggling to sell out where he owns a property here in Las Vegas. He can't really sell out venues in Vegas either. The A side really sounds like the defending champ. You want to fight Boots Ennis? Well, he is the welterweight champion. Location is going to be on Boots. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the terms should be dictated by the champ.
Well, he wanted to fight. Turkey wants to fight on the Canelo undercard. Boots said, "No, I want a headliner card. I don't want to be on an undercard. If I'm fighting this dude, he's coming to Philly and fighting."
Man, that would be a great co-main. Well, that's the thing with Turkey. And, Teofimo's been beefing with, why I say he shot himself in the foot, bites the hand that feeds you. Turkey is offering a lot of money, the kind of money that would motivate Teofimo. Teofimo's gotten himself in a lot of issues over promotional contracts, how much he thinks his value is. Turkey is offering the kind of money, but it is, he wants to pick the fight. He had a plan B. That plan B fell apart. Bill Haney, shout out to Bill Haney. I'm going to bring up the Haneys next. In fact, I'm ready to segue into this next video and hear everybody's favorite fat journalists, excuse the language. Let's take a listen to Dan Rafael. Let's take a quick listen to what he had to say reporting today's news. What happened here? All right, here we go.
And it got to a point where, again, I've not heard this from the Boots side, from Matchroom or whatever, but I'm told that in the end, Ennis decided that was a no-go, and that was the fight that Teofimo really wanted. And they had agreed, I guess, at least on, I don't know if the exact dollar figure, but they knew sort of the range of what they were going to make for that fight. And when the Ennis fight was not there, the money for the alternative, which was Haney, which is still a reasonable bout, was maybe not quite the exact same as what would have been there for the Boots Ennis fight. And so it feels like Teofimo kind of agreed to the Haney fight, but got kind of irritated that the money wasn't quite the same. And that sent him off the cliff into writing all the crazy tweets. And I saw the videos he did that, Turkey fired him, or I got fired from boxing. I mean, he's kind of maybe lost his mind a little bit. So the bottom
Lost his mind a little bit. Yeah, Teofimo always using the social media platform X, Twitter to voice his opinion and whatnot. We'll get to some of the stuff he said, but Drew, let's continue to listen on.
The line is, whereas the Haney camp, from what I am told, was good to go, agreed to, all set, let's do it. Then it became a little bit of a problem because I would imagine that Turkey was not too pleased by the things that Teofimo not only posted, but clearly, I guess, understood at some point it was not proper for him to do that and ended up deleting one of the tweets. And so I guess they're going to try to salvage. And it got
all right, there you guys have it. Dan Redfield first to report on this news. A shout out to Bill Haney in the building. Drew, Haney's been calling for a fight with Teofimo for a very long time. Both of these guys once part of the Four Kings at 135. Now both champions at 140. If I stand corrected, Devin Haney has not lost his WBC title because he got that loss expunged because of Ryan Garcia's Ostarine and PED use. This is a brilliant unification, a great opportunity for Teofimo in his own very own weight class. I think they might wanted to have done a catch weight for this one, though. Nonetheless, a catch weight, right? Nonetheless, Teofimo's like, what? Hold up. I want the same money you was going to pay me to fight Boots, to fight Devin. And there, everything fell apart. Now, they even had a date, August 16th. They already had, everything was ready to go on plan B for Teofimo to fight Devin Haney, which would be an incredible matchup despite Devin's performance recently in New York City. I think it's a unification. The two of the Four Kings are going to finally get it on. Teo looked fantastic. Devin was getting his feet wet again, shaking off the ring rust. Say what you want to say about his performance. Nonetheless, I think it's a great fight, but he don't want the fight. Teo don't want that fight for that money. Who's ducking who ducked who in this whole Teofimo shenanigans fiasco?
I look at it like this. Teo don't have the leverage in a Boots fight. Like, Turkey's making it that Teo has leverage, but he doesn't in a Boots fight. And it makes it it makes Boots, it's like, why the hell would I want that fight if everything's going in this dude's favor and everything? I'm the fucking champion. I make, and I think that American fighters are starting to realize that, see Turkey out like she's true colors. And let's look at it and say, hey, Eddie, like an example, Eddie, I'll sign with you, man, but I don't want to do no business at Turkey out Sheik. And I think Boots and them made that, said, hey, I don't want to do no business with him. He doesn't value me. He doesn't value me right. And like, you promised me some things, and I want those things kept. So I won't have them kept if I gotta fucking deal with that dude. So I'd rather not deal with him. And I think a lot, like David Benavidez said the same thing. He wanted David to fight in Alcatraz. Dave said, I don't want to fight in Alcatraz. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And everything. He declined to do business with him. Canelo, he was only going to pay him $80 million and everything until he said I was going to fight Jake Paul, and then he said, I'll give you the 100 and everything. But Teofimo, I think he has mental issues, and it's costing him a lot, and it's costing him money. And we look at it like this, like, if anybody wants to go above and beyond this, that Teo doesn't duck anybody. Yes, he did. He ducked Lomachenko for the rematch. He publicly said, I would not fight Lomachenko again. I don't want to fight Lomachenko again. And writing's on the wall why he doesn't want to fight Lomachenko again. Lomachenko came back and almost beat him with one fucking arm.
Tio, I don't know what the payday was they were offering you to fight Devin, but it's the best conceivable fight for you at the current moment.
More winnable fight, too.
A very winnable fight. Okay, very winnable fight. We can debate that once the match is official, but at the moment, I would reconsider, apologize to Turkey. You didn't need to do what you did, calling him a dictator on social media. I mean, you just don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. I just don't agree with it. Now it leaves him in limbo. He said he was fired from boxing. He went on and said that maybe he needs a new job. I think he even tweeted at celebrity influencer boxing asking if they wanted him to come on and fight on their promotion. Some pretty wild shit, but typical behavior of Tio when he feels that his back is up against the wall, in my opinion. Sometimes he just needs to back away and hit his head clear. I understand, Drew, you think he might have some mental issues. I mean, there's a lot of young fighters these days struggling with what appears to be mental illness. Not Devin Haney, but Ryan Garcia has been very candid and public about it. By the way, if you guys are interested, Ryan Garcia today, Drew, it was announced. He announced on his social media platforms that he had surgery on his right hand. He said he makes no excuses about not being able to land the right hand or use it against Rolando Romero, but that he fucked it up in that training camp and he needs surgery and he'll be out for some conceivable time. To be honest, Drew, the hand injuries like that, I don't care how minor it is, he ain't going to be out 6 weeks like he said. He's going to be out a very long time. I don't expect to see Ryan Garcia, if at all, back into the ring or training camp until later this year. So we could forget about him and a Devin Haney rematch because he just had surgery. Devin Haney versus Teofimo. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Any final thoughts, Drew, on that issue?
I think the other fights out there for Teofimo is a rematch with George Kambosos.
I like it. George Kambosos is going to fight, Richardson Hitchens, one of the current 140-pound titleists. Also a great choice for Teofimo. Whoever wins this fight damn well should get into negotiations as well with either Devin Haney or Teofimo because I think it's a great fight. I like that fight. And Kambosos is right around the corner to fight Richardson Hitchens. That should be a great fight. Drew, really quickly, not sure if you've been watching this heavyweight from the UK, Moises Itama.
Yeah.
He got a brilliant second round knockout this weekend. Shout out to him. Josh Taylor. There's something about Josh Taylor I wanted to bring up because Josh Taylor, 4 years ago, I remember coming to Las Vegas for the Josh Taylor versus Jose Ramirez fight. Undisputed, 140 pounds. One person was going to be undisputed. The winner ended up being Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor just fought again this past Saturday. Said it was time to finally move up to welterweight. He's looked like hot shit in the past couple years. Teofimo blasted him out, just destroyed him. Teofimo destroyed him to become the lineal 140-pound champion. Josh Taylor looked like trash, Drew, even moving up to welterweight. Jose Ramirez on the back nine, end of his career, moving up to a welterweight catchweight against Devin. Both of those guys, including Ryan Garcia, who fought Rolly Romero at welterweight. All these guys that were supposed to be special or were champions at 140 moving up to welterweight, they've had zero success. Recent memory. Zero success. Used to be natural, man. Used to Paulie Malignaggi, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. These guys that were champions. Even Glass Chin Amir Khan moved up from 140 to 147 and made something of themselves in that division. Philadelphia's Danny Garcia, 2-division champion, 140, 147. But the new crop are struggling, man. There's nobody who's moved up from 140 to be like, dog, I'm here at 147. I'm going to dominate again. So I don't know, man. Moises Itama, really quickly, people are starting to talk about him. He's already ranked by the WO #1. He could be fighting for a world title very soon. Moises Itama versus Richard Torres Jr., California's silver Olympic medalist. Man, this is a fucking brilliant fight. Are we going to get this fight early in their careers, or are we going to get this fight when one of these guys become world champion?
We're going to get it. We're going to get it sooner than later.
Yeah, man, that would be a fantastic fight. Where's my boy Fonzie? I'm sure he'd say Richard Torres would get mopped by Moises Itama. Does Moises Itama look like the Mike Tyson, the smaller prototypical heavyweight with explosive power, strong legs? Which one of these two guys is going to be the real deal in the heavyweight division? They're both small heavyweights.
Moses knocks out Torres inside 5.
Sheesh. And Richard, shout out to California people, man. Richard is the silver medalist, not Moses. Excuse me, I was been calling him Moises, but it's Moses Itama. Very interesting, true. Very interesting, man. I know it's pretty late. Shout out to everybody joining us. We got about 20 people in the room, 22 likes. If you guys want to be so inclined to hit that like button, we will be back at it. Bill says the Latino will win, and he says both of those heavyweights have ducked Devin. I'm sure they have, man. I'm sure they have. Let's get on to some talk about this weekend. There's a doubleheader in Las Vegas, but why not have some fun, Drew? Maybe this will wake you up a little bit. Some football news. Travis Hunter, all right? Yeah, the star cornerback, wide receiver, got drafted number 2 in the draft. Travis Hunter got married this weekend, and he did so to his high school, college sweetheart that parties with him and requested rides to the parties, to all the hot parties, while he would wait in the car. And she was in there doing Lord knows doing what, while her star football boyfriend was waiting patiently outside in the car. Travis Hunter, no prenup, very happy, no prenup. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong, Drew? I know so many of you guys cannot wait for football season. The Las Vegas Raiders look to have been making some big changes over the as we approach preseason. Very interesting what might happen with the Vegas Raiders. 49ers have been making a lot of moves. I'm sure the Eagles, shout out to your team, Drew, the defending world champions. Fucking excited. Shout out to Daniel Berry Sports. Appreciate you. He says happy Wednesday. Cannot wait for football season, Drew. I've been talking to some people privately that might be joining our football show starting this fall. That might be interesting way to shake it up. Let's talk about what's cracking in Vegas this weekend. I mentioned Friday's going to be 105 degrees. I think I'm going to go to the public weigh-ins Friday. Should be live streaming. If I do, make sure you hit the notifications for the Caleb Plant fight. Let's start with Friday. Las Vegas Virgin Hotel Casino. We have the return of Beck the Bully. Drew, this weekend is about super middleweights in Las Vegas. Beck the Bully, once upon a time, silver medalist himself. People thought he was going to fight Kovalev. People had high hopes for the Uzbeki fighter, who, by the way, trains with the powerhouse Mexican team down in Coachella of trainers, right? Antonio Diaz and whatnot. Shout out to them, Drew. Then came that night when Philadelphia's Gabe Rosado had the impeccable counterpunch and knocked his ass out into oblivion, Drew, sending the future star all the way to the back of the list of super middleweight contenders. A rough knockout, one that he did avenge. I gotta say, Beck the Bully avenged that loss. But recently, Drew, Fonzie and I were there in his last fight at the exact same venue, the Virgin Hotel Casino in Las Vegas, on the undercard of Floyd Schofield. Drew, he fucking fought so shitty. I was so bored of that performance. We go to the bar, and immediately after that fight, the guy he had just fought, I think his nickname was Dynamite. Fonzie was telling me the story. Rolls up to the bar, and Fonzie says, bro, that was a good fight, man. You almost won that fight against Beck the Bully. Not a scratch, not a freaking Beck the Bully. He hits hard. Not a freaking even mark on his face. Fonzie says, let me buy you a drink, to which the fighter, Dynamite, his nickname, said, thank you, man. Thank you. By the way, Bill, I saw you at the Virgin Hotel Casino when you was hyping up that fight with Ryan Garcia. That was Virgil Ortiz. You was in the hallway and you was yelling that Ryan Garcia was not raza. He said, he's not raza. Ryan is not raza. Bill had everybody going, man. And who would know that eventually we would get that super fight. Drew Beck the Bully, he's fighting Fulghum. And Fulghum is a fighter in-house. It's the main event. Not a great card, in my opinion. Not a very interesting fight. Fulghum is at a crossroads. I mentioned he got knocked. Beck got knocked out viciously in June of 2021. At the time, Gabe Rosado was 25-13. Darius Fulghum, undefeated, 20-year-old prospect contender from Houston, who almost made the U.S. Olympic boxing team, but did not. If he can get past Beck the Bully, both of these guys are going to catapult in the super middleweight rankings. If Beck the Bully can actually knock somebody out again, then maybe we could be talking about him fighting the likes of Caleb Plant, Jermall Charlo, who are fighting Saturday night. I'm going to ask you right now, what's going to happen in this main event?
Pick a Fulghum to win.
Interesting.
I really don't think too highly of Beck the Bully. I don't think he's that good. And he relies on his physicality to be able to push somebody into a corner. And when you cannot do that and you take shots, you're going to lose. You're going to get knocked out. And you could get hurt doing that type of fighting. I never was really high on Beck the Bully. This is going to, at best, this would be a cringe contender, I said. And I still have that assessment on him to this day. Like, it's just not, he's not really that much of an entertaining fighter to me. And everything.
I hope to see things change, Drew. I hope to see things change Friday. I may even pop up and go at the very last minute, guys. This is for the WBA. Currently, I think Beck is ranked number 4. He could move up as high as number 2 or even potentially number 1, depending on how impressively one of these guys win. For Darius Fulghum, the opportunity is there for an upset. Shout out Billy Aney, says, Dave, I got to leave. Me and Devin are headed to Popeyes. Please enjoy one of those brilliant chicken sandwiches. If I was there, it'd be on me. And we will talk about that paycheck, though. Thank you so much, Bill. Appreciate you being in the chat, guys. That's Friday night. Goldenboy Boxing back at the Virgin Hotel Casino in Las Vegas, Drew. Saturday. It's really interesting, Drew. Saturday, I was listening to Sean Porter's podcast today. Excuse me, has his co-host, I think his name is Sean. Sean is a reporter he's a reporter that covers the Las Vegas Raiders as well. I believe he's also a videographer. He has his channels. I think his name is Sean. I see him all the time. Amazing reporter, Drew. But he pointed out, he made a point out that this card is basically Saturday. Well, I mean, I can't paraphrase because I actually forgot. I don't want to put the wrong words in it. But basically, Drew, it's a stay busy fight. It's a stay busy fight. It's a showcase fight set up to have Caleb Plant look extremely impressive and to have Jermall Charlo, who's been out of the ring for so long and is still undefeated, who's still so much ring rust to shake off, is basically meant for both of these guys to come up with big wins and fight each other later this fall. What chance do the fighters have, guys? What chance? All right, let's talk about this main event, Drew. Mexican fighter Resendiz. Best win on his career is an upset against Jarrett Hurd in 2023. Jarrett Hurd, he got busted up. Resendiz fucked his face up, ripped his lip right here, and the fight was stopped, awarding him a TKO victory. A very brutal fight. One that I really think was a great fight at 154 pounds. 154. Later that year, Drew, he moves up 6 pounds to be a middleweight to take on prospect. Nice kid, Elijah Garcia. Elijah Garcia smokes him out in a TKO victory for him. I think Resendiz got busted up, stopped the fight in 8 rounds. Loses that fight. Now he's moving up to super middleweight, 2 divisions up. All these guys who've moved up from 154 to 168, it only hasn't looked good. It hasn't. And by the way, Terrence Bud Crawford is moving up from 154 to 168. As tough as Resendiz, Mexican fighter is, he's vastly undersized for the division. He got a lot of heart, can take a lot of punishment. But let me show you just how big currently 168-pound Caleb Plant, former IBF champion, looks like, Drew. It's pretty impressive. Also on that, Okay, this is Resendez and Plant, and then you got Charlo and Thomas Lammana. We'll get to that fight in a minute, but Caleb Plant posted this picture. Kermel Moton, Floyd Mayweather's prodigy, Kermel Moton, will be fighting, I believe, on probably maybe even the YouTube portion. It'll be non-televised. It was kind of fucked up. But he looks pretty swole, man, pretty strong. This guy Resendez is up against Shit Creek, man. He got a lot of heart. How's this fight go?
I think Plant gets a stoppage. And it's just something that I can see see it happening. Plant's becoming more of a puncher's puncher. And
yeah, he's got some pretty impressive knockouts in his career, even post Canelo, right?
And I think he goes to start knocking people out now. But I just see Caleb Plant winning this fight by knockout. Like the other fight, the Charlo fight. If anybody wants to put a bet on that other guy, I would do it.
Thomas Lammana. Drew, I wholeheartedly agree with you on this one, man. Caleb Plant has endeared himself with the Latino community, Drew. They got a nice lowrider community developing out here in Las Vegas, probably because we have so many transplants from Southern California. But Caleb Plant got his share. Lowriders, man, he gets a lot of love from the Latino raza in Southern California. He fought, respectively, Canelo Alvarez. He's in a biracial marriage. He's had a tough hand at life early on, grew up very poor in Tennessee and lost a daughter at one point, God bless her soul. People like him. He's very likable. In fact, he's very likable to Las Vegas local community. I think he's going to walk away with a stoppage. He stopped McCumbee. McCumbee's a big fucking super middleweight. I think he's going to fight knockout Resendez, but hey, while it lasts, should be very entertaining, Drew. Now, you mentioned Lammana. Let's talk about Lammana. Thomas Lammana was knocked out at one point by Arislanda Lara at 160 pounds. He's a club fighter with almost 40 professional fights. Italian kid, I believe, from the East Coast. You think Lammana has a chance at upsetting? And it's understandable, Drew, because Jermall Charlo has not looked good in the past few years. He's really taken some long layoffs. He was the champion at 160 pounds. And his last good performance in my eyes was against Derevchenko. That's years ago. And I don't know how he fucking had that belt without even defending it for nearly 2 years. They didn't strip him of having that belt. He's undefeated, but really in the past 3-4 years, he's barely fought. And he didn't really look good in his debut at 168. I was in the building for that. How does he turn this ship around and prove, hey, I still got it. I'm undefeated. I should be among the elite at super middleweight now.
He's got to get this guy out of there inside 5 rounds. He's got to make it look good. And if he doesn't, it's just another guy. And he's going to fade right into the middle of the pack. Like, people don't really care that much for him right now. And I don't know. I just say this is, if you're going to put money on somebody for an upset, I would put it on Lammana right now. It's not a bad idea, but we'll see how it goes. But something been really like getting to me and everything, and like I have to bring it up.
Okay.
When it comes like the Crawford Canelo fight, it's just been terribly promoted so far. Turkey's credit as one of the biggest fights in boxing history. I beg to differ. I don't think it is. People are, oh, you don't need a press conference for this fight. Yes, you do. I think this isn't on the level of a Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson fight, Fury and Usyk fight, Hopkins, De La Hoya. Hans Hagler. I don't think it's on that level, not even close. And plus, this isn't the fight that people wanted. People wanted Canelo versus David Benavidez. People did not want another guy moving up from 154 to fight Canelo Alvarez.
Okay.
And then people are now making excuses why this is a great fight and everything. Really. And like the last fight, William score, it flopped. It was, he did 320 or between 320 and 350K at pay-per-view. Like, but here's the thing. Do you guys see how bad that fight was? How terrible, how boring it was? In the age of boxing now, you see like people are prepared to fire stick, watch it on pay-per-view sites for nothing if it saves the money. And, I think more people are going to look to do that route. And I think this fight doesn't really do the numbers that people think it's going to do. It's going to do between 275 to 300K.
Damn, you would think this is a fight that's going to get a million, because it used to be the million was the benchmark, Drew. But I gotta agree with you on a couple things. First and foremost, regarding that super fight, the venue has not been disclosed. They shifted the date. They had the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, the home of the Las Vegas Raiders, booked. It was already announced. They're saying, hey, Friday, September 12th, you got a super fight at the stadium. People were booking their room. Now, we still don't know the fucking venue. We don't know the venue.
That's the worst thing.
We haven't started the press conferences. We haven't even started the press conferences yet, let alone the co-main attraction and all the other additional fights. But Drew, you bring up a very valid point that this fight may not actually be the fireworks that we think it's going to be. It might actually end up being like Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao, where we got two of the best fighters of that generation that waited until they were both in the back nine of their careers. Canelo, 35, but already looking in every fight, who he hasn't knocked out anybody since Caleb Plant. He don't look that dangerous anymore. In fact, he looks like he can't cut off the ring as well as he used to either. And Terrence Crawford, even older than Canelo Alvarez, well, he didn't look that spectacular against the last fighter he fought, beating Madrimov. He didn't look that great. He struggled at 154, then to leap to 168. It's very possible that this fight may not deliver any of the fireworks that we anticipate or wish to see as boxing consumers, as fans of the sport. It could completely end up being the boring fight between Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao that marinated for way too long. I'm happy to see this fight. I'm happy for Terrence Crawford to get an opportunity to become a generational legend. I'm happy to see Canelo fight an African-American fighter again, one of the best ever of our generation in America. But again, it might be a little too late. They ain't prime. Shout out to AC Walker. Appreciate you, man, being in here. Steve says, oh, wow. Drew, let's one more topic really quickly. It's late. Shout out to everybody on the East Coast. It's 11:52. I know my boy Drew works tomorrow, but I mentioned at the beginning of the show that a fighter, Shigioki, fought this weekend and is battling for his life right here. He had brain surgery, Drew. The day it was announced that he had open brain surgery to relieve the swelling in his brain, a very unknown fighter to me in the UK, this guy named Delicious. That's right. His first name is Delicious Ori, Olympian for the UK, just had his first pro fight, announced his retirement after one fight. Everybody thought he was going to be the next big UK super heavyweight. You know, the UK has some of the best. Tyson Fury, AJ about to sign a 2-fight deal. He decides the shit ain't for me no more. I ain't trying to die in the ring. I got a nice offer for a corporate job, and that's the way I'm going to go with my career. That'll wake you up, Drew. Thank you so much, SB, for being one of the best mods. I appreciate you. Appreciate you very dearly here. Thank you guys to everybody that tuned in. Drew, doubleheader in Vegas, Friday and Saturday if you're here. I'll be at the Mandalay Bay. Probably be at the Virgin too, man. Probably be streaming, so make sure you tap in. Say what's up. Should be a fun weekend, but hot, guys. Hot. Vegas, the summer started. It's 105 this Friday, 106. Your boy's not cut out for it, man. I'm from the Bay, man. It's too hot. Too hot in Vegas. Glad to have you back on the air, Drew. Any final thoughts for the weekend?
I look at it like this, that you know what, I got something on my mind, and like I try to use the platforms that I got to put a message across. Like, if people like, all right, we live it like we always live, like this country. Workers, like, there's something called unions, and like, I don't know, people in the chat probably work in a union job. I work in a union job and everything, but I work as part of a city government. I'm employed by the city and everything. My contract is at the end of the line at the end of next month, and we actually looks like it's heading towards a strike and everything, because I never really was high on like parties like Democrats, Republicans, and everything. And like the people always say Democrats are the one that defends the middle class, while Republicans defends the billionaires and everything. But where I'm from, the Democrat acts like a Republican.
Ain't that strange?
So,
Philadelphia mayor acting like a Republican.
And like I'm extremely underpaid for what I do, Dave. My job.
I hear you, man.
I'm extremely underpaid for what I do and the skills that I learned over the past few years and everything. I'm extremely underpaid, and now I get told that we got offered the raises come as they go and everything, but you can get from 0 to 2% raise a year. Now, it's not even guaranteed I get a raise if we take this new contract. And like, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, if you work in my city for the city, you need to depend on OT to make a good living, and that's the tough part about it. And it's a shame that when you got a mayor that clearly doesn't care about the people that makes her city run and everything, clearly doesn't care about the people in the city and everything. It makes you really think, and her head's not in the right place and everything. Like, I work from like 7:30 to 3:30. Sometimes I do OT if it's available. Sometimes I work 6 days a week and everything just to make extra money. But it's really been hard on me lately.
I hear you, Drew.
So
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. You shouldn't have to work more than 40 hours a week to have a livable wage in this country. And you shouldn't feel like the city is against you and giving you guys the basic rights. Give this man, my boy Drew, give them their contract that they need to have a livable wage without Drew having to bust his ass for 60 hours a week to make a livable wage in the city. And yeah, while these strikes are happening everywhere, Las Vegas is no stranger, man. The hotel unions here, they strike when needed. Lots of strikes. They just had a strike at the Virgin Hotel. These people were getting massively underpaid. The hotel refused. They were striking in the streets, Drew. In fact, they finally got their contract resolved only after huelga. Huelga is Mexican. People know that word very well. Been striking since the 1960s in California, Drew. I hope you guys I wish you guys the best, man. Give this guy and his team over at that city of Philly the contract that they deserve, man. Nobody needs to work 2 jobs, should be working 2 jobs to make an honest living. And on the bright side, if depending whatever politics you are, I hope they pass no overtime, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on tips. That shit's gonna help everyday Las Vegas residents. No tax on tips and no tax on overtime. Drew, I myself remember, man, doing overtime and looking at your paycheck going, what the fuck? They take so much money out when you work overtime. Everybody deserves a living wage. Appreciate you, Drew. I'm Dave in the 702. Philly Irish, you gonna be back on Monday? If you can do Monday show, we'll pencil that shit in for Monday. We got some pretty interesting fights coming up June 7th. Again, a doubleheader. Keep it locked right here. Make sure you got your notifications on or tap in on Friday afternoon. We should be out at the casino and whatnot, checking out the media day, media stuff for Caleb Plant, the weigh-ins and whatnot, PBC stuff. Thanks a lot, Drew. I'll see you on Monday, man. Peace out, everybody.